Coach, just first of all, you're getting back home and playing a couple of games this week. Just your thoughts on where your team is right now.
Well, I thought we had a really good practice yesterday, so I was excited about that. It's just fun to have like the first time that we've had all 12 players out there, or 13 players actually. Uh, since we've been started in early September, so since Tolu got hurt. So it was good. I mean, we had a very good practice yesterday. I'm hoping we have another one today. And I like our resolve, the way we bounced back after a disappointing defeat against Louisville to beat a very good Richmond team, a Richmond team that's I have a lot of respect for. It's going to win a lot of games this year. So I'm excited about the challenge of the coming week against Lamar and then Minnesota on Sunday.
Last question, Coach, for me. Any update on what Keyshawn Murphy's able to do in practice now? Or?
Yeah, I mean he was out there yesterday and was actually in a number of the drills that we did early in the practice. It's just that he got caught so far behind. He's not really getting a lot of practice time once we go 5-on-5 because we're redshirting him.
Theo, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned the challenge with Lamar. I know they've struggled this year, but how do you make sure your team brings the same intensity against a team that kind of has struggled 1-6 so far to start the year?
Yeah, I watched their game against Georgia Tech, which was their second game of the year, I think. And they had Georgia Tech down to the wire in that game in the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. Hopefully that'll get their attention because Georgia Tech's got a good program and good personnel. But they're a team that shoots threes. Anytime you play against a three-point shooting team, that's always tough because it's a team that can be dangerous. I mean, you look at Harrison and Buster and Adams, those three guards that play major minutes for them. They're all small, they're all quick, and they're a very, very good shooting team. And we've got to come out and play with great intensity and take the opportunity to play against someone else, which they always like to do.
Stefan, go ahead.
Hey Ben, you mentioned Tolu there. I mean, with him returning to playing those 2 games in 3 games, or 2 games in 3 days, do you kind of just expect him to be a full go now, and kind of how did his body respond to that workload?
His body did pretty well, I thought. I thought he responded well. He was breaking in some new orthotics yesterday, unbeknownst to the trainer or to myself, and his feet were sore after practice yesterday. And it's like, yeah, you can't do that. That's not how you break them in. So it's just constant to try to, make sure he's on top of everything. But, in the first game against Louisville, I mean, he was really, really a step slow defensively and just, hadn't had enough reps at the center position, which he played very sparingly last year because Abdul was here. And it really hurt us, and he saw the film. I think he learned from that. He made some similar mistakes, but not nearly as many against Richmond. And we wouldn't have won the Richmond game without Tolu. I mean, he was a key factor in that game against a good team. And so, and he had a good practice yesterday, so he's definitely headed back in the right direction. He's very sensitive. He got his toe stepped on yesterday, and it was very painful for him. And it's just something he's going to be dealing with here until we'll get to a point where he won't be thinking about his feet anymore.
Andy, go ahead.
Hey Ben, you kind of talked about before the Bahamas trip that there was a little bit of concern, right, with the COVID situation. How did everything kind of work out just with travel and I guess just the whole experience out there?
You know what? It was really well done. We actually tested here. Everybody had to test before you went and present a negative test. Upon arrival, we had to test down there. When it was on the day of the game on Saturday, I think it was, when we tested. It was either Friday or Saturday. I can't remember which. It was. It went pretty smoothly. I mean, they did a great job. I mean, when you went throughout the hotel there, I mean, you had to have your mask on, or someone was telling you to put it on. So they're trying to keep everybody safe. And unfortunate for me, I ended up getting a virus that my wife and I have had now. I'm over it now, but I had it for about 4 or 5 days. I was really not feeling well by Thursday game time. and was feeling awful on Sunday when we got back and Monday. So that's going around too. You know, they're telling us that because everybody was so safe distance a year ago, that now some of these other viruses that we get outside of coronavirus are really affecting people because we didn't get them for a year. And we all got our flu shots. The flu's been hitting some of the student body here at Mississippi State. So, you know, and I was very disappointed, obviously, to hear about this new variant that's entering our country. And I just read a little while ago it's been found to already be in California. So who knows how that affects us all. Thankfully, I'm and my team are all vaccinated, and you know I've had a booster shot. Plus, I've had it.
I'm glad you're feeling better. I wanted to check on Javian Davis. Do you think he's going to be back against?
Yeah, he'll play. He'll play tomorrow. He had a good practice yesterday.
Cool. And how do you just anticipate with obviously Tulu kind of switches that
Tolu.
rotation up a little bit.
Tolu.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah. There's a football player on our team that's Tulu, so people make that mistake.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. How does it kind of switch up the court rotation with Tolu back and just with you got a lot of bodies down there?
We have a lot of depth, and that's the sign of a good team. And you know, so it's very competitive. You know, it's also adjustment now for Garrison to play the primary minutes that he's going to play at the 4. And you know, you look at what Matthews has done for us. He's done a really good job playing the 4. He played 31 minutes in the game the other day and played very well, especially defensively. And then JD's going to give us solid minutes as you know, a 5-man. So those 4 guys are really, and then we have you know a 5th player that we obviously really like a lot, and you know, so it's you know, it's competitive.
We'll go to Theo to wrap it up.
Sure. Coach, I know Rocket had been out a while. Still looks like he's struggling a little bit to get into a rhythm. What have you thought of his play so far, and how long do you think it might take for him to get to where you really
You know, he had his best practice as a Bulldog yesterday. He was 6 for 6 from the field, 4 for 4 from 3. I was really excited for him. I'm not surprised it's taken him some time. I mean, you know, I had a player at UCLA, Josh Shipp, that just took off the entire season when he had his hurt. Now, he had his hurt a little later. It was in August versus, you know, he had the surgery done in June. But it's a serious deal when you have a labral tear in your hip. It's a no joke thing, and he's, you know, I think he's going to get better and better. I was really pleased with how he played yesterday in practice, and again, you know, he made every shot he took yesterday. He really looked sharp. So I think he's going to continue to improve there. And then we also have what we think is a very good freshman in Carter. So we have good depth in that backcourt right now, and I'm excited about that. This is the most depth of any team I've had since I've been here. And we have very competitive practices every day, and so we're continuing to grow as a team consequently, and that's what you want. The best teams I've ever coached all have really good competition every day amongst the team, which really raises the level of play and therefore makes you better. And you know, we're seeing that in our practices, which is exciting.